Welcome to Opening Day on the Bay 2021, our 103rd running. The term opening day was used in early 1900s when the various yacht clubs around the bay celebrated the spring season. In those days, that was the Corinthian, San Francisco, and Encinal yacht clubs. The first Pacific Inter-Club Yachting Association opening day was in 1917, and there's been an annual theme ever since. Opening day is the PICYA's biggest annual event, and we are here pleased to be doing the first live stream of this event. Live streaming from the St Francis Yacht Club, I'm Sav DeLuca, your host, along with my esteemed colleague, Joe Lerer, and today's theme is Back in the Day on the Bay. Just look at our beautiful bay today. Sure, we've got some gray skies today, but that's why we live here, where the Pacific meets mainland. Look at that view from the Golden Gate Bridge, which isn't so gold, Sausalito, Belvedere, and Tiburon, over to Angel Island and Alcatraz, then east, southeast to man-made Treasure Island, Yerba Buena Island, and the East Bay.
Well, we're used to this view now, but imagine Juan Manuel de Ayala, his surprise in 1775, when he sailed through the Golden Gate on his ship, the San Carlos, into our natural harbor. It became his. Almost 250 years later, we celebrate the best part of our lives on the water, in and on our boats. And I think that's a good reason they call it Ayala Cove over there at Angel Island. We got kayaks, sailboats, all seeking that primal bond with the water, wind and waves.
As usual, the parade starts just west of here off Crissy Field and finishes down by Pier 39 where the PICYA official judging boats are stationed. There are two yachts there, Blue Crew and Valor. We'll say more about those yachts and our hard-working PICYA team soon.
Well, we'll be waiting for the fireboats to come. This is pretty much typical weather part of the year. We've got a little extra fog, but we've got no rain. And we've got enough wind to fly the pennants and flags. And we've got enough wind to help with the sailboats.
I was just thinking that, we were supposed to get about 80-90% rain, so we're glad that there's no rain out there today. But you're right, the fog is definitely rolling in, but we can still see these beautiful boats out here on the bay. We've got Blue Crew cruising across right now, from the front of the St Francis Yacht Club. We're going to talk about the PICYA clubs, and I think you'll be able to see that on your screen there, Joe.
Oh, yeah. This represents Northern and Southern California. How many do we have here?
We've got close to about 100 clubs from Northern and Southern California.
We have great participation today, Sab.
Much better than anticipated because of the weather.
Yeah.
It's been dry here in Northern California for about 30-plus days, and today the good Lord said, let's bring a little bit of rain.
Yeah. And I'm looking outside. We do have a little bit of rain. Maybe we shouldn't have talked about it.
I agree.
And the Grand Marshal. What do you know about the Grand Marshal?
Commander Marie Byrd, U.S. Coast Guard.
We're just about to get this going, starting with the fireboats, and then we have about, I'd say we have about 40 boats to line by.
Yeah. What's nice, though, it's nice to be here in the St. Francis Yacht Club, considering the year that we've had. And it's open, and we've had many of our members that have been fortunate enough to come back and enjoy the sights, the views, the food, the menus, the camaraderie that we've also been missing for this past year. Fortunately, Joe and I have been both vaccinated.
Yeah. That's important for you all to know that we feel pretty safe being next to each other. Plus, I like him. He's a good guy, Sav here.
Joe just puts up with me. But we're also fortunate because everybody here on our production crew has also been vaccinated, so we feel safe all around.
And we're here in the starting line room at the St. Francis Yacht Club. And I might say so many of the yacht clubs in the Bay Area are joining together for one celebration. 103 years and counting, and a little bit of weather is not going to stop this crew at all.
That's so true. It's going to take a lot more to bring us down.
So you can see the camera is picking up, that is
Number 3, Fireboat St Francis. But as you may or may not know, the number 3 Fireboat St Francis, as a custom for respect and honor, the St Francis will receive a gun salute as the lead parade boat comes by.
Ah, there goes the fireboat.
She's definitely starting to show off. I like that. I think she's just trying to sprinkle down the cutter behind her.
And she can take water right from the bay and use it for its intended purposes of putting out fires. So,
That second ship is U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the John Dillard.
and here they come.
And again, as a custom for respect and honor, the St. Francis fireboat will receive a gun salute as a lead parade boat. Here in just a few moments.
Just when they pass Buoy B.
I don't know, Joe, I'm starting to get goosebumps. Look at this. We're on our way. Look at that. That's pretty. That is really pretty. And there's team member Mike Mahoney outdoors right now with the shotgun, about to do honors.
Don't aim at the boat, Mike.
The John Dillard behind is a debris recovery vessel.
And they're off. Ladies and gentlemen and sailors alike, the San Francisco Fire Department begins the 103rd Parade on the Bay, opening day here, followed by the John Dillard.
Arriving to the San Francisco as the San Francisco Fire Department in 2016, she was initially simply called Fireboat 3, as she became the city's third fireboat, joining existing fireboats Phoenix and Guardian. Renamed the St. Francis, she was officially christened on October 17, 2016, the anniversary of the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. Actually, local schoolchildren helped to pick the vessel's name. Senator and St. Francis Yacht Club member Dianne Feinstein attended the vessel's christening and was largely responsible for the securing federal funds to help pay for this vessel.
During the christening ceremony, Senator Feinstein reflected on how during her time as San Francisco's mayor, she wanted to retire the city's fireboats and how Fireboat Phoenix proved her worth during the Loma Prieta earthquake when she pumped water directly from the bay to fight the fires raging in the Marina District. Fireboat St. Francis is 88 feet long, has a beam of 25 feet, draws 14 feet of water, and was built by Jensen Maritime Consultants and by Vigor Industrial in Seattle, Washington. She's got the top speed of 11.5 knots. Full load condition can accommodate up to 3 crew members and 4 firefighters aboard the vessel. And the John Dillard is the debris recovery vessel is 87 feet long with a 26-foot beam. She's quite useful on the bay. Who's coming up next is...
Okay. And now leading number 31 is Pat Pending. Now we see the Owen family's Lake Union dream boat, Pat Pending, representing the San Francisco Yacht Club. This classic 92-year-old boat is perfect example of our theme back in the day, as she led this parade on opening day, April 27th, 1941. The owner, A. Donham Owen, was entitled to lead the parade as he was the Commodore of the PICYA that year. 8 months later, Pat was in the Navy and patrolling the submarine nets that were installed across the Golden Gate from Point Sausalito to the St. Francis Yacht Club to keep foreign submarines out of the bay.
Today, to celebrate 80 years, we have some famous Bay Area sailors on board. Jim DeWitt, Hank Easom, Carl Nolke, and Don Beacons. Pat Pending has been living in the same berth, the San Francisco Yacht Club, for 64 years and expects to spend another 80. She's always ready for the next opening day parade. Wooden boats are good if well tended.
My motivation in participating is to repeat history, Pat Pending has said, and has been in many opening days. He's led quite a few over the years and is an active member of the Classic Yacht Association for 43 years. This boat is unique in that it was launched in 1929. In 1931, it was stretched to 50 feet. She also served in the U.S. Navy as a yard patrol boat from December 1941 to October 12, 1944.
Well, here comes Calliope with Michael Weber and John Rakow on board from the PICYA Yacht Club and the Classic Yacht Association. Calliope is a William Hawley design and was launched in the good old days, back in the day, 1937.
She's part of San Francisco Bay history, having been built in the Oakland estuary. Since then, she's actively sailed the waters of the bay and delta for more than 8 decades as a salmon fisher and family cruiser.
The name Calliope comes from a Spanish novel written in the 16th century when the world was fascinated by the discovery of the Americas and islands that surrounded them. Bordering the Pacific coast was a mythical island called California, of which a beautiful Amazon woman was queen. Her name was Calliope. Number 38, Skull, is coming up. Skull is a 1928 Stevens Brothers 34-foot pilot house cruiser owned and piloted by Robert Cesar of the Glen Cove Yacht Club and Classic Yacht Association. Oh, she's a fine example of, we did certain things back in the 20s. What a look. Oof. Bridges and ports.
Step into a different world of nearly 100 years ago where life was to be lived grandly and to motor along with the fine view of the world, to take in the shallows of the Delta, to fish and to swim and to travel in style. Number 1 of 6 that year, with only a few left, she served as an example for the Stevens brothers of what a fine motor yacht club could be. Out of her days at San Francisco Bay and the Napa River. In the 70s, she was glassed over below and then extensively fiberglassed in the Napa Valley as part of a complete rebuild. She also has a new Yanmar turbo diesel. You can see she has been lovingly cared for. What a gem.
Number 60, Fairwind. Here comes the St. Francis Yacht Club member Rick Leland, inspired by ocean racing success of Finestra, Charles McCulloch of Halifax, and Sparkman and Stevens designed Fairwind, then absolutely state-of-the-art, to be built by McGruers of Cylinder of the finest materials with no expense spared under the close supervision of Rod Stevens himself.
Fairwind's 50 years could almost be described as a game of two halves. Her first in youth as a successful racer, fondly remembered by many former crew members, and then in maturity as a comfortable, safe, and versatile cruiser, ever displaying the style and qualities for which her designers and builder are so highly regarded. Soon to become the queen of Halifax racing circus, Fairwind gave good account of herself, racing extensively and notably winning the Prince of Wales Cup in 1959, for which the presenting was made by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II at the Royal Nova Scotia Yacht Squadron. On acquiring her in 1982, the prior owners took her to the West Coast, and for the next 25 years or so she cruised, rather than raced over 50,000 miles of the waters of the Pacific, Northwest, and Alaska. Then she embarked for a North Coast and Central American coastal waters, cruising therein over some 8 years before returning to Halifax to celebrate her 50th birthday.
Fairwind has won a number of awards and plaques, including Best Sailboat in the Vancouver Wooden Boat Festival 1991, first place for sailboats in the Madison Wooden Boat Festival, and Louisiana 2005. All right, coming up is the Matthew Turner. That's what we've been told. Is that right?
The Matthew Turner is definitely coming down fast, and here she comes. And you were saying that this is the Matthew Turner's first opening day on the parade. I think she was probably just a little bit shy. And she was volunteer built, wooden brigantine, providing educational programs on the San Francisco Bay through the Call of the Sea Foundation. Their owner vessel is the Seaward. Next up, we have Amanda.
From the Island Yacht Club in Alameda comes the sailing vessel Amanda, their opening day on the Bay flagship for 2021. The Island Yacht Club is a repeat PICYA Decorated Boat Category Champion. And this year's entry, a 1987 Catalina C36 donning an 80-foot grass skirt and 2 giant coconuts and a flower lei. They are dressed for the hula and dressed to impress.
At the helm is Island Yacht Club's cruise chair, Eric Corbas, and aboard are IYC members and friends. Their luau theme reflects the warm days and relaxed vibe of Alameda Island life, as well as being a nod to our place in the Pacific. Amanda was also a participant in the PICYA Pacific Rim Unity Parade and is a proud symbol of the little club that canned, Island Yacht Club.
Here's a toast to the club that's celebrating 51 years and still sailing in Bristol style.
Here comes Jim Cullen from the Point San Pablo Yacht Club, skippering the 60-foot Grand Banks fishing schooner Gold Star. The schooner Gold Star began as one of man's dreams in the barn in Richmond, California. George Krenkel has been buying, refurbishing, and selling boats all his life. When he saw the schooner's plans in Yachting Magazine in 1948, it appeared to have everything I always wanted in a sailboat. Krenkel spent 14 years building the schooner with blueprints purchased from J. Murray Watt, naval architect. The original plans called for a working gill netter without a bowsprit. In 1957, Krenkel received an offer to buy the boat and declined to sell, saying he had not yet completed building the boat. Stated, "My building program is both recreation and hobby, and I am taking the time to do a job that will do justice to the same effort and feeling that Mr. Watts must have put into the design. The fairness of hull and sheer is surely a thing of beauty." At that time, Mr. Krenkel obtained blueprints of the bowsprit sail plan. The original plans called for a gaff mainsail, which was changed to the Marconi mainsail. The Gold Star is outfitted with 3 additional sails, and a foresail is gaff rigged.
Mr. and Mrs. Krenkel requested that the schooner remain named Gold Star in memory of their son, who was killed serving our country. The teak decks were salvaged from the heavy cruiser Oklahoma City. Oak bunks, the chart table, oak drawers were removed from a Navy vessel before it was put into mothballs. Blocks and most stainless steel fittings were designed and built by Cullen. Ballasts of approximately 4 tons were melted and cast to fit the below cabin. The schooner Gold Star has been sailing on San Francisco Bay since 1965 and has over 35,000 miles of ocean sailing. Yeah, now comes our flagship, number 401, Pinball Wizard.
Pinball Wizard, the St. Francis flagship. Pinball Wizard will receive 3 gun salutes, and all of our St. Francis Club flags are on board. They got a gun salute, but you know what? I think we should give them a hip, hip, hooray.
You do the hip hip.
Hip, hip!
Hooray!
Hip, hip!
Hooray!
Hip, hip!
Hooray! Excellent.
Commodore Bill Dana and Dr. Lisa Dana are cruising by on the 2001 Santa Cruz 52 Pinball Wizard. Also on board are Vice Commodore Pete Gilmore, Rear Commodore Bo Froelich. Other notable crew members on board are the board of the St. Francis Yacht Club. The Santa Cruz 52 is a creation of the wizard Bill Lee. Wizard because of his breakthrough design Merlin. Remember, fast is fun. Bill says the 52 is what you get when you cross a swan with a rocket ship. This boat finished 3rd in the 19 Transpac with an actual time of 8 days and 14 hours.
Hypathia is coming up. Hypathia of the St. Francis Yacht Club. Hypathia is a Solaris 47 owned by Staff Commodore Ray Lotto and his wife Janet. In October 2019, they purchased Hypathia in England. She was shipped via container ship from Southampton to Port Hueneme near Ventura, California. She was in the Ventura boatyard until March 2020 during the pandemic. March 23rd at midnight, they were so happy when she arrived in San Francisco. Now, she's an Italian boat.
Va bene.
Va molto bene, and designed by Javier Soto Acebal. And this will be her first opening day parade. Welcome, welcome, Hypathia.
Look at that black beauty and the dreadnought bow. So Lerers are built in Italy to the highest standards and are truly blue water yacht. She weighs in at a mere 27,000 pounds with a 14-foot beam carried all the way to the stern. She is named after a previous boat, the Baltic 42, Hypathia, because in 1989, she kept them safe when they crossed the Atlantic to the Mediterranean and then crossed it again, returning to St. Lucia. Their previous boat was the FAR 53 Atalanta, which they graciously donated to the Boy Scouts of America.
Number 402, Hypathia, looking good. As you know, Ray Lotto was Commodore of the St Francis Yacht Club in 2007. And who is Hypathia, you are wondering? Hypathia goes all the way back to more than mythology. I mean, she was the Hellenistic philosopher and astronomer and the leading mathematician of Alexandria, Egypt.
Apparently, I missed that part of my mythology class way back when. That was way back when.
Yeah, well,
say.
I probably didn't learn what she laid out back then in math class. Jam's coming, number 403.
From the St. Francis Yacht Club, here is John Paulson and Jam. Jam is a Yankee 30. The Yankee 30 is a Sparkman and Stevens design, and 132 of the class were built between 1971 and 1975. Jam can often be seen cruising on the bay and is very active in the Golden Gate Yacht Club's Midwinter and Friday Night series.
John kept the name Jam when he took over ownership in honor of his good friend and prior owner, Neil Ruxton, a St. Francis Yacht Club member who crossed the bar in 2016. Jam is the heraldic motto of the Ruxton family. The shield and motto was granted to Ruxton in the late 1500s for service to the crown during Queen Elizabeth I's reign. The Ruxtons were part of her army, and they were granted lands in Ardee County, Louth, in Ireland. It means go now and forthwith. Oh, this is a favorite. 405, the Walloping Swede, will come into sight very soon. And our staff Commodore, who we'll introduce in a second, has raced 17 years on this boat and has been an ardent supporter of the club and racing. It's a J105 fleet. It's one, if not the largest one design racing fleets on San Francisco Bay. An interesting little tidbit that I can tell you about Sav is the naming of a convention of J-boats is that the models of the boats are designed to fly symmetrically. They're spinnakers, or as you would say, symmetrical spinnakers. They're designated in feet, such as our fleet of J22s, 22 being the length of the boat in feet. For J boats that fly asymmetrical spinnakers, such as the J105, the models are expressed in, you guessed it, meters. So divided by 10, the so-called J105 is 10.5 meters long.
You assume I knew that. It's a lot of numbers there, and math was never my forte. But today, Staff Commodore Bradner is on the Walloping Swede. Given the previous Swedish owner's reference to the legendary boxer Ingmar Johansson. Joining Staff Commodore Bradner and her 7-year-old daughter Odette, the crew includes her significant other, Mark Papamarcos and Rhys Taormina, accompanied by her family and hilarious family, Rhea, Mike, and Christopher.
Good Omen is coming up. Good Omen following the Walloping Swede. There's some tongue-tieds in there.
There's quite a few.
Here comes Damir and Tina Prishkish. St. Francis Yacht Club members on their 2000 Tartan 4100. The Tartan 4100 is a performance cruiser built in Fairport Harbor, Ohio on Lake Erie. The The 4100 is also one of the most successful 40-footers in tartan history. Tartan started in 1960, has built over 5,000 boats. Here she comes. The Good Omen got her name when the original owner, Rudy Meiswinkle, was taken out by the boat dealer for her first sail. They were all so disappointed. There was no wind. But the dealer took out the new owner anyway and walked him through the basic operations of the boat.
Towards the end of their expedition, the breeze filled in from the west, and the new owner declared it was a good omen, that the wind gods had delivered wind, and hence the boat was named the Good Omen. When the Priskitches purchased the boat in 2013, they decided to keep with tradition, and they kept her name. The Priskitches are planning on traveling south to Newport Beach and Catalina this summer. That is beautiful.
Nice
Look at
looking
that.
boat.
Very, very nice. Yes. Well, look at this. I think, Joe, I do believe the fog is slowly lifting and things are becoming more and more clear out there. That is obviously a good omen.
You got that right, Sav. And we're looking at Angel Island, and when Ayala discovered the bay, the reason everybody passed it up was because of the fog. So it was probably on a day like today when the fog lifted a little bit and Ayala saw the opening of the bay and how it just went on forever and ever, and he anchored that night over on Angel Island in Ayala Cove. We were just speaking of fog and how it lifted after a good omen passed us by. And we've got coming up SunQuest. This is all just falling right into place, isn't it, Sav?
I think it most definitely is.
Now, this is Dave Dowdy's Ocean Alexander 42. David is from the St Francis Yacht Club, and they live in the foggiest part of the city, the Sunset. And when they leave the fog, they escape to SunQuest. Get
More
it?
tongue twisting.
Yeah, the name, SunQuest. Ocean Alexanders are overbuilt in all aspects of construction, oversized everything. With twin 440 horsepower diesels, she's capable of cruising at a comfortable 20 knots.
Oof. She's been up and down the coast, is a frequent visitor at Angel Island, but she most enjoys the transit up and back from the Delta. As to the decoration, SunQuest is celebrating the bay way, way, way back in the day, 65 million years ago, the age of the dinosaurs. SunQuest is a family boat, and 3 generations of family are on aboard today.
Daisy is next. You know, Daisy goes missing every now and again, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Here's Mario Schumann and Daisy on the Fairchild Scout 30 from our beloved St. Francis Yacht Club. Daisy is not built for speed and will be crossing our bow fairly soon. She's a fiberglass-hulled, diesel-powered reproduction of the 1925 Blanchard raised-deck motor yacht known as the Lake Union Dreamboat. Well, we'll be the judge of that.
We will be.
The Dreamboat was designed for fiberglass by the naval architect Ben Ostlund, and then meticulously hand-built by Fairchild Yachts in San Diego, California.
Well, going back to the Dreamboat, Daisy is 30 feet 8 inches long with the beam of 9 feet 8 inches. But she only draws 2 feet 4 inches of water, and she displaces 9,850 pounds, for those of you that really wanted to know. 2,000 pounds of ballast are located near the turn of her soft bilges, which makes her an exceptional boat, stable for her size and her beam. She is a single-screw diesel-powered vessel and carries 108 gallons of fuel, which gives her a range of more than 1,000 miles at 9 knots.
Boy, with that sort of draft, she'd make a great boat back in the Prohibition days, running liquor. Many of us know, but we can't wait to share over and over at the bar and the grill. In May 2015, Daisy was stolen from the yacht harbor. She was later found washed up on Ocean Beach. Though damaged by this misadventure, she's been meticulously restored to her former glory. And to this day, we really have no idea who was driving Miss Daisy. Thank you, Skipper Mario Schumann.
Well, here comes Kokita. Erin Stipulkowski and her husband Gary are next up with their 2019 Hansa 458. They bought her at the end of 2019, taking possession in February of 2020 in San Diego. Little did they know what a welcome adventure she would be for us this past year and much, much more.
Oh, they did. They brought her down in San Diego. They brought her up the coast. That's right. Yeah.
During COVID.
During COVID, including a stop at the lovely Catalina Island, eventually to San Francisco, and of course to Tinsley Island. The boat got its name because it's a nickname for one of their daughters, and that could mean flirt in Spanish.
Can boats be flirty?
They've got the name.
That's-
Cochita.
Yeah.
Taché is our spotter. Dudley Fournier. Is Taché next?
Taché.
Oui, oui. He says oui, oui.
Ooh La La is a 2001 DeFever 49 owned by sisters Harriet Lehman and Pajari Jacobi. Is there a cult yacht for the passage-making set? It is this yacht. Built from the 1970s to the early 2000s, the DeFever 49 has all the attributes of a cult object. It was built back before we knew much about fiberglass, so more is better was the rule. With a range of 1,000+ miles at a fuel consumption that sipped diesel and within a seaworthiness that shrugged off breaking seas, she was right even with the diesel fuel. She was right even when diesel was only $1 a gallon. You remember those days?
I remember those days. Power comes from twin 150 horsepower diesels, which delivers a cruising speed of 8 knots. You know, on board the Taché, those are 1,500 horsepower. 15 horsepower, I'm just reading through a typo. On board of the Taché are their kids, the L'Enfant, who represent the 4th generation of their family to be boating on San Francisco Bay. Now, this boat is used mostly to go up to the Delta and back, which is a very good idea to go up to the Delta and back. And we selected this boat for its perfect California Delta outdoor deck space. Take a look at Taché.
Bonjour mes amis, comment allez-vous aujourd'hui?
Le plume de métal sur la table de mon oncle.
Oui.
Je m'appelle Joe.
Look at that. They are all dressed to the nines out there.
Yeah. The
Look at
boat
that.
is named after their French great-grandfather, grand-père.
Grand-père Taché.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're starting to get a
Beautiful.
nice, strong southerly winds. Look at those flags blowing in the breeze.
All right, Willie Stewart. Oh, yeah. We got white pants and blue blazers, kids. This is looking good.
The W.L. Stewart III, skippered by Paul Manning from the St Francis Yacht Club. This Grand Banks 32 was built in 1973 as one of the first fiberglass versions of this vessel. It served as a primary race committee boat for the St Francis Yacht Club for nearly 40 years before being retired a year and a half ago. Spencer Fulweiler and Paul Manning purchased her and have given her a lovely restoration and made her a nice cruising boat.
You know, as a race committee boat for the St. Francis Yacht Club, she has been hit by more racing sailboats than almost any boat in the bay. Paul's older brother, Stevens Manning III, is on board today with his wife, Kathy, and today is his 65th birthday. Can we get 65 guns? Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, welcome to Medicare. So
There's your
happy
65 guns right there.
Yeah. So happy birthday to Stevens Manning III on the W.L. Stewart III. And by the way, I want to point out that this was the former flagship of the St. Francis Yacht Club Race Committee fleet. It was nicknamed the Wee Willie. Now, who do we have coming up? Miller Time.
Miller Time 3. Another DeFever is this 1981 40-foot Europa-style trawler skippered by Derek Meyer of the St. Francis Yacht Club. Designed by Arthur DeFever to be a seaworthy cruising yacht with incredible range, these yachts are capable of cruising from Alaska to Mexico in comfort, safety, and style. Usually made in Taiwan, over 100 of these 48s were sold. Oh, she is pretty.
I will point out that this is the first vessel that has crossed our bow that has a dog on it. And the dog seems to be operating on all decks. And when they start to pay attention on your boat and do a lot of sniffing, you're thinking, gosh, I wish I was on shore.
No kidding.
This
all,
would be
all
so
paws,
much.
All paws on deck.
Yeah, all paws on deck. And so there we go. And not sure what the name of the dog is. They didn't submit that. But that's Miller time, number 3.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't Corona time. Corona's probably not the name of this dog here.
Oh, yeah. Here comes the beautiful Pharos. Number 418 for those of you that are looking for numbers and lining it up with your program, should you have one. We've got it's a 58-foot Hampton 580 with the Chambers families on board. Yes, they're inside. Hailing from St Francis, she was originally from Pacific Northwest and acquired by the Chambers family in Alameda. The Chambers take multiple trips yearly to the Delta and to Angel Island for overnights. And in 2018, they took the family up to the San Juans in Puget Sound when their youngest was just 3 months old. Wow. They met up with in-laws who were completing 15 years of sailing around the world on their Norseman 447 sailboat. Well, there they are. They're standing tall. There's a lot of wind out there. And like I say, white pants and blue blazers and ties, they're looking good. Yeah, this is the uniform of the day. She's named, she's got, oh, no, I wanted to bring this up. This is important. She has 3 staterooms. She's driven by twin Cummins QSM 11 diesels. I wouldn't want anybody to miss that.
Oh.
With a 715 horsepower each in those diesels, the tankage is 880 gallons of fuel and 250 gallons of water. And I don't know how much alcohol.
Yep.
And she's been active. She's got an active fin stabilizer.
How could you have almost missed that, Joe?
I don't know.
That would have been terrible. She's named after the lighthouse at Tinsley Island in the Delta. Pharos is the Greek word for lighthouse. Just the family is on board today. 3 children, 9, 7, and 3 years old, and this is their first parade. The eldest had her first sailing trip when she was just 1 month old. Now that's a lot of faith.
Welcome back, Pharos. Oh, we've got a little tug. You got a little tug coming, tugging along. Russell Breed is at the helm of his 2012 Ranger Tug R27 from the San Francisco Shrine Yacht Club and the Treasure Island Yacht Club. Ranger tugs they got a cult-like following. Ranger 27 is powered by a single 180 horsepower Yanmar 4 BY2 turbocharged 6-cylinder common rail diesel engine. I was just telling my wife about that last night. As you might guess, this boat is about range, not speed. Even as the fast cruise speed between 13 and 15 knots, the boat will travel about 200 miles on a tank of fuel, which equals about 2 8-hour days between fill-ups.
And you know, for a 47-footer, they have an amazing amount of usable space.
It's 27.
What
You
did I
added
say?
20 feet.
Well,
That would really appreciate.
I'm just stretching her out.
Yeah.
She's got a full galley and a roomy cockpit. This boat is eco-friendly too. They've got 3 solar panels to keep batteries charged while cruising.
Yeah.
Size does not matter here.
27 feet, and they're doing well. Now, is the Calliope on the horizon?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
No.
There's some people who want to call it the Calliope, whatever.
Calliope,
It's the
Calliope.
Calliope. The Calliope is a 1985 Pilgrim 40 trawler skippered by Rich Holden of the Treasure Island Yacht Club. It's a fine Canadian vessel. It was first created by Ted Gozzard, the designer, on a placemat in Peterborough, Ontario restaurant. Not sure what they had for dinner last night, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
The concept was created for a friend and is an ideal boat to use on the canal and intercoastal waterways for nothing more than just going slow. and sightseeing, a vessel or two, with occasional guests. Look at her. That's a personality. The boats themselves were built in North Castle Marine Limited in Ontario, starting in just fewer than 41. Only 41 of those beauties were built. Rich is the third owner, and the origin of the name was from the second previous owner, who hailed from East Coast. As a child, he would go to Coney Island, and he loved Coney Island, and he loved the steam-powered piano, thus Calliope. She cruises the bay in the Delta. Naturally, there's lots of Calliope music on board to remind them of Coney Island.
Pretty boat.
Beautiful boat. Next, we have the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria are coming in slow, and the fourth one that was in that series was called the Chalupa. They didn't get a lot of notoriety, being the fourth boat.
So in that case, right after that came the Kialani. Coming down the line next is Ed Cass and Matt Byers in their Catalina 27 out of Loch Lomond Yacht Club. The Catalina 27 is a very popular boat in the San Francisco Bay and was designed by the late Frank Butler, Catalina's founder. The first Catalina 27 was built in 1971, and a total of 6,600 were built. The Catalina is a great sailing boat, although in the San Francisco Bay, you need to reef the sails early. The Catalina 27 didn't become one of the most popular sailboats ever built without good reason. It offers good sailing, comfortable accommodations, one-design fleets, and an active owners group.
All right, coming down the pike, so to speak. Great name, Luna Sea. Luna Sea. It's single-handed. It's a 1980 I-36 skippered by Islander by Dan Knox of South Beach Yacht Club. That's a nice-looking lines.
That is. Next in the Islander 36 cavalcade of stars is Rick Egan's 1977 model Kapai. Kapai means pleasant in Maori. Rick is excited that the Islander 36 turns 50 this year and wanted us to be aware, so we mentioned it. The Islander 36 is a true classic sailboat and was produced from 1973 to 1986, with over 770 hulls made. They are fantastic San Francisco boats, as evidenced by 25% of them being sent to Northern California. 1977 marked the last year of the original Islander 36, with 1978 bringing some slight changes in the deck mold and interior.
Coming up is 460 Aries. She's a 2002 Catalina 380 skippered by Larry Main from the Sequoia Yacht Club, which is on the shores of Redwood City Marina. The Sequoia Yacht Club has been around since 1939. The Catalina 380 was introduced in 1996, won Boat of the Year awards in 1997 for the mid-size cruising class. She's a fast, comfortable cruising sailboat with very comfortable accommodations, easily handled sail plan. She's easy to sail as a single-hander. Oh, boy. She does have the most flags.
No doubt.
Look at that.
Catalina Yachts is one of the most prolific and popular sailing yacht manufacturers of all time. The firm was founded and run by a man of vision, a revolutionary. We would call him a disruptor now, Frank Butler. Frank passed away at the age of 92 in November of this past year. Catalina Yachts produce 60,000 boats, bringing the sailing experience to millions of people.
860 Sav, tell me a little bit about Seahorse.
Now motoring past is a 2002 Albin 28 Seahorse piloted by Peter Shamray from the Tiburon Yacht Club. Seahorse is a Coast Guard auxiliary patrol boat, but not today. The Albin 28 flush deck is considered by many to be the perfect Pacific Northwest cruising boat. Wow. She'll handle some inclement weather, cruise efficiently close to 20 knots, sleep 4 comfortably, and still has a huge cockpit for fishing and entertaining. And here comes Second Wind. Second Wind is a Sabre 426, was purchased by our owners, Valina and Peter Barnes, in 2019 after a 3-year search for their dream boat for blue water sailing. Representing the Richmond Yacht Club, she is perfectly named for circumstances in their lives. She was transported from Long Island to Seattle to cruise up there and outfit her to sail home to the San Francisco Bay. When the pandemic hit, they soon brought her home from Seattle in 2020.
Zephyr is coming up.
It's a Catalina 387 Zephyr. And representing the Oakland Yacht Club and the Single Sailors Yacht Club, the 2008 Catalina 387, skippered by Michael Dolan. The 387 is a progression from the Catalina 380 and is billed as a coastal cruiser. The crew is glad to tell us that all 7 of them are 100% vaccinated.
And we want to point out that our whole team, our opening day team here in the starting line room, we are all double vaxxed also.
That's right.
Happy to be.
Borealis. The penultimate boat in our parade today is Rolf Jaeger's 1990 Gulf 39 pilot house sloop.
You know, penultimate does mean second to last, but now that we look at the field, it might be our ultimate.
What
This
do you know,
is
Joe?
it.
What do you know? A pilot house that gives you an advantage from steering from inside, which looks like a good idea for today. Gulfs were built by Capital Yachts, and they went out of business in 1996.
Speaking of out of business, we're out of boats, and we want to thank our spotters and our audiovisual crew here, Tom Ehman and Bob Skye and
Bev,
everybody else Bev, who helped.
Mike Mahoney, and
Mike Mahoney
and
with-
Dudley Fournier.
We needed an extra spotter with Mike Mahoney, but we thank everybody who worked yesterday and today and developing this script, which we never follow because we're dealing with skippers and boats, and we want to thank our beloved St. Francis Yacht Club, the staff, and everybody who makes this opening day so much fun. The fog is lifted.
Absolutely.
Let the games begin, and Blue Crew.
Yep. And again,
there's-
like Joe was saying, PYCYA, there's the Blue Crew out there. And once again, that is it for us today. I'm Sav DeLuca, and we have thoroughly enjoyed being with you today. Joe, I've enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
I couldn't agree more. I'm Joe Lerer. We're going to see you on the 104th, but are we going to give some of these?
Let's give a little something about the Blue Crew is the PICYA's official boat for today. Blue Crew was a 46-foot well-craft and was the Miami Vice Boat of the Year when it was new in 1987. You remember that show?
Yep.
Little Don Johnson?
Oh, yeah.
This one is fully remodeled and is a great offshore boat. On board is PICYA Commodore Patty Mangan, as well as the boat owner's PICYA Staff Commodore Linda Blue with their husband and son Elliot. Linda is also a director for Bay Planning Coalition and Recreational Boaters of California, as well as Staff Commodore at Petaluma Yacht Club. We would love to thank the Coast Guard today, the police and the firefighters. Semper Paratus.
Semper Paratus for sure, and they made sure Daisy wasn't taking anything around the bay. It shouldn't be on that boat.
That's true. That's true.
So that's about it. The other boat is Valor. Valor is a Hans Christian 48 sailing skip. We don't see it, so it's down at Aquatic Park. They'll be flying the smoke-damaged U.S. flag from 9/11 Ground Zero, to be serious for a moment, where he helped in the aftermath of both the Pentagon, saved 5 people, and his fire station in New York City. He worked tirelessly to recover bodies and to try and find survivors. That was on the morning of September 11, 2001. So, we want to end on an up note and thank everybody who will view this in the future.
There's a few more people I wouldn't mind talking about on the Blue Crew boat today, though, before we actually go. The PICYA Vice Commodore is the opening day chairman. Joan Marsh is also past president of the Recreational Boaters of California and a staff commodore of Pacific Coast Yacht Association and Pittsburgh Yacht Club. On board is also PICYA San Rafael and Little Venice staff commodore Mia Burnt and her husband David, who are on the water to provide radio support each year. All of us here at the St. Francis give you our hearty thanks for an incredible amount of work and logistics that goes into making this parade as memorable as ever. Thank you so very, very much.
It's been a great day for the PICYA St Francis Yacht Club, where we got to host this boat parade. And this allows all the yacht clubs and boat clubs in and around the bay to come together to have a celebration for the place that we love the most, being on the bay.
Thank you again for being here. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We hope to see you again next year for the 104th.